What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here with another review, doing Batman White Knight number 5. If you haven't been reading this story, shame on you. Shame. You should be reading this. It's amazing. This book does a good job of kind of flipping the Batman-Joker dynamic, on its ear, but it still leaves you wondering what's really going on. So far, the Joker has become sane and is now a councilman of the impoverished area of Gotham known as Backport. Meanwhile, there are two Harleys, one who is the original Harley Quinn, and then the other one, which is now Neo Joker. So, meanwhile, now that Jack is a councilman, he is trying to legalize the vigilanteism in Gotham. By doing that, vigilantes like Batman and the others would work under the GCPD, kind of in a sharing of information and the technology to kind of benefit both. Obviously, Batman sees this as a scam, but Nightwing and Batgirl kind of see the tides have changed, and they jump on board. So, right off the bat, again, these three panels to me tell me a much deeper story, and it's just a little nib, but I feel that these three panels will have probably a major payoff down the road. So you have Joker taking his crazy pills, and he coughs up, some blood, and Harley is obviously kind of like, hey, what the hell, you need to, he's like, I'll go see a doctor later, and she's like, I am a doctor, and he's like, don't worry about it, I'm fine, they just make my stomach upset. So then, he says, I need to prepare, you need to train me, I've beaten Batman, I've taken his family, the police, and Gotham. The only thing is an old-fashioned fist fight. And Harley's like, he's Batman. You're not going to beat him in a fist fight. And he's like, well, not only are these pills, making me sane and smarter, they're also steroids. And he does the Tobey Maguire, look at me, I'm ripped now kind of thing. So they train. One thing is like, don't hit him in the face because he's a councilman. But of course she does because she's like, what do you think? Batman's not going to hit you in the face. But one thing I enjoyed about this one, issue 5, more than the others, is this book really does focus on Batman, and it really this showed me more of the place that Batman is in, like mentally, and how he's feeling about this whole situation. This book does a good job of that. I would say in this whole book there's two panels that I didn't like, and I'll show you them. So so they're investigating, all these super criminals have all of a sudden started working together. Batman suspects foul play. He suspects the Joker's behind it. So they find this lair of the Mad Hatter. And what it is the... originally, Joker had controlled all of the all the supervillains by putting a Mad Hatter card in Clayface and then having the villains spiked their drinks with Clayface's clay. And that gave him control of everyone. Which he used to kind of start his scheme. I say scheme, again, you don't really know where his loyalties lie, other than he says he lies with Gotham. He's on Gotham's side. Another thing that's, so then Neo Joker takes that power, and now she is controlling all of the supervillains. So Batman tracks down the Mad Hatter's lair, and this is where they find Clayface. Meanwhile, Nightwing and Batgirl are trying to talk Bruce into joining the GTO, which is the vigilante division. And there's this like really good like heart to heart where, you know, Dick is kind of confronting Bruce like, hey, look, maybe, you know, we can't forget what Joker's done, but maybe what we need to do is work with him. You know, maybe he is right about this. And, you know, they kind of go back and forth. And I really like what, you know, Batgirl kind of steps in, kind of does a badass move, throws, you know, Batman down. And she's like, you guys are always in a pissing contest. And I like what she says here. This is probably my favorite page. She says, Bruce gave you everything, Dick. You don't have the right to talk to him that way. And Bruce, you need to think carefully about your next move because Gotham's losing patience with you. And so he kind of goes away. And I love this. Sean Gordon Murphy, if you're listening, this is amazing. I love that. So he goes to see Harley, and I like this scene too. You really get a feel of the past relationship between between Batman and Harley, and how he would purposely put her with the Joker, because when the Joker was with her, he was more sane, which is obviously very evident because once she left, he went on a crazy crime spree to the point where he didn't even recognize that the Harley was different. So there's a really nice talk, and she says, you know, he's not the villain anymore. You need to work. You two, if you would just, you know, quit being so stubborn and work together before it's too late. And this panel, this is one of the panels, but it's like Harley suddenly becomes like the quirky aunt with her quirky glasses. But again, that's just, I love this. And just like anybody who keeps telling you, like when you're like, you know something with like every fiber of your being, and everyone tells you, no, you're wrong. Batman just like puts his fist through a pillar, and he's like, am I the only one who hasn't lost their mind? You know, it's like, I mean, honestly, like I can relate to that. It's like when you're sitting there and everyone's just up against you, and it's like, you can't help but just feel like his rage about like, look, he is so certain about this, so certain. To him, he is 100%, and no one believes him. So then he punches that, and Harley's like, look, you two are the most boneheaded people I know. If you just work together, you'd be able to like solve the city's problems. Meanwhile, Neo, Joker, and Hatter have found that Victor Fries used to work for the Nazis. I mean, shocker. But also was friends with Thomas Wayne. So that then links Thomas Wayne to the Nazis. And I know what you guys are thinking. Nazis, everybody's Nazis nowadays. I mean, that word is thrown around so carelessly, it's completely lost any of its valid meaning. Again, Nazis are, were Germans in the, mid 1900s that killed millions of people. Nazis, by today's standards, is someone that misgenders you. So the fact that this is talking about real Nazis, and it makes the link and it makes sense, so it's fine. So they try and sneak into Wayne Manor to find these secrets, and then now we're coming up onto one of the panels that I just ugh. So she uses Ivy, who she's controlling, to use her vines to kind of go in and kind of scope the building. Meanwhile, obviously Batman is alerted to this. And they find a room that has never been opened, for many years. And they're looking. Well, of course, Bruce comes up. And this is the panel. And Sean, what was the reasoning behind this? Putting Bruce in a pink fluffy robe and these lines, "Oh my lord, you hooligans, get off my property." I mean, the voice I just used is the voice I imagine reading this. Like a 60-year-old, queen who's just like, "Oh, And I mean queen as in an older gay man queen, just, "Ooh." That's what I imagine this. The look, the words, that's what I feel. That doesn't feel like Bruce Wayne. It doesn't feel like Batman's alter ego. It feels like a 60-year-old gay man who's just like, "Get off my property." So then, of course, they bolt, and of course, Neo Joker, who's the second Harley, even says, "Hooligans, that's like a bad impression of a rich guy." And instantly, we're supposed to forgive and forget that, this was awful because it was an act. I don't buy it. Bruce is better at acting than that. So then they go out, and of course he alerted the police. So the GTO roll up, and of course it's Nightwing and Bullock. And so look at what Bruce is wearing. Very clearly a pink robe and nothing else, even bare feet. But then somehow here, after Nightwing pretty much like, "Hey, Mr. Wayne, the GTO has this," somehow he pulls open his robe and there's the bat suit. It was a pretty good chase. Actually, I'll show it. My other gripe was, so there's a nice chase with the Neo Joker, and she says, the Hatter says, is that the Batmobile? And she's like, "Yeah, a bunch of them." Which, these are not Batmobiles. These may be some souped up cars. Like you have a Volkswagen and a Charger and a Porsche, a big old Jeep thing. These are not Batmobiles. These are just souped up cars. How you even looked at this and saw Batmobile, I don't get. Maybe if they had some fins on them, then she, to me, it's is that the Batmobile? No, there's a squad of supercars chasing us. That would probably be the more logical thing. But then the GTO kind of takes over and does a really good job. They work as a team. You have, Batgirl, Nightwing, I forget his name, but he's he's an ex-cop who is the leader of, the social leader of Backport. And then you have Bullock and the other, I can't remember her name, the other detective. And they do a great job. They work as a team. They provide support for each other, and everything is great. Until a double-page ad comes in and ruins the pacing of a frickin' action scene. But then, of course, Batman shows up and begins to wreck it all. And, Batgirl and Nightwing try and plead with him. He's like, "Look, this is for my family," because obviously he knows something was taken from Wayne Manor. Again, I like it. You should be reading it. I'm very interested to see where this is going. From following Sean Gordon Murphy on Twitter, he already talks about ideas that he's having for Volume 2, which excites me. That lets me know that even though this says issue 5 of 8, that there is more on the way. But you guys definitely need to check this out. Subscribe over here, watch some more videos. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you next time.